No problem, Mister. Sisalinda no Dr. Linganiso naye aconnect sozama ukungena.
Okay, hayi akunankinga ke simlinde.
Okay.
Ngesithembe ukuthi siyazwakala kahle ngoba mina ngiyakuzwa kahle kakhulu, asithembe ukuthi kwabalalele bayakhona ukusizwa. Mawukuthi mhlambe kukhona ongezwa kahle noma mhlambe uma nje kukhona ongezwa kahle sizocela ukuthi abhale la so that sizobona ukuthi okay mhlambe kunenkinga kuzwakali kahle.
Ya bafowethu siyacela bafowethu nibhale impela. Nibhale lapho kuzovela lapho sibona. Kubuka ngathi uDr. Linda angazi noma unama-troubles connecting uthi connector. Ayisinike mhlambe just 3 minutes or mawukuthi kanjani ngo-5 past siyaqala mawukuthi akakhona ukuthi uzosithola ngendlela. Somlinda nje kancane la ngibona ukuthi uthini. How is Cape Town, Mr. Mbili?
Oh hayi kuhamba kahle kakhulu. Yikho nje ukuthi weather ke yalana ke injalo ke inakho lokho kubanda ke kuhlezi kubanda nje so namhlanje nje kuthe ukuphola.
Okay.
Loadshedding ke lena ke esizothi sizokhuluma ngayo ke namhlanje hayi ke yona ke hayi ihlasela ngapha nangapha ke impela stage bani manje is stage 5 kodwa nje yo hayi kubi.
Hayi ziningi kakhulu inkinga. Ziningi inkinga kakhulu.
Yeah.
Ziningi kakhulu.
Impela. Ya ke sibona kodwa ukuthi uDr. Linganiso uyangena.
Yeah, kumele ngabe ngene futhi. Let's check. I think we have just 1 or 2 minutes umlindile. But uthe usazama uconnect.
All right.
Awuthi ngizama ukumfonela la ngimbuza ukuthi uyawinani. Ngizomute nje mic yami and then I'll be back. But we should start with. Okay. Bafowethu ngicela ukukhuluma nawe Dr. Linda. Uthi uyasizwa. She's part of i-conversation. I don't know why singakwazi ukumbona. But uthi uyasizwa. And yes, I think we're gonna have a problem. Mase kumele akhulume but ngisamtshelile ukuthi akazame something else ukuze azokwazi ukuthi abe kahle. Okay.
Okay, uthe uyasizwa
Yeah, uyasizwa. Uthi she's part of the conversation, uyasizwa njengamanje. Kodwa manje she doesn't
ngicabanga
appear.
ukuthi aka-click lana okuvela khona ethi request i-access ukuthi abe yilento le abe is it a co-host or a speaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ngicabanga ukuthi uyezovela laphaaka-check lapha ibhathini kumele livele nje lishoyo ukuthi unless-ke kukhumbula ukuthi kumele ajoyine ngefoni not ngelento le not because kungenzeka ukuthi mhlawumbe uma ukuthi akakhona ukujoyina mhlawumbe kungenzeka ukuthi mhlawumbe ujoyine ngekhompyutha.
The computer, yeah, that's true. I forgot that. That's true.
Yeah.
Hopefully uyasizwa, but it's okay. Mhlawumbe siyiqale. Let me just call her once more. Just ukuthi ngimcele afone connecte ngefone. Then sokuqhubeka uzosijoyina ngendlela, so that we don't wait forever. I'll just mute you. Ngimfonele first.
Okay. Tulani, I'm not sure if you are winning.
Billy? I know. Billy? Uthi uThalindo uyasizwa, uyasibona, but akakwazi typer or something. So ngicela silokhu nguzame nawe on that side sengikwenzile i-co-host ukuthi sim-add from our side. Either as a co-host or as a speaker. Khona ezokwazi ukuthi abe ne-access. Yeah, guys, since uDr Linda esizwa uzosijoyina ngendlela while we try to ukum-add kanjena. Ngicabanga ukuthi
uDr Linganiso ne?
Yes.
uDr Linganiso not Dr Linda
Dr Linda Linganiso.
Oh. Ngijwayele uDr Linda, so manje I thought mhlawumbe uyabheda uma uthi uDr Linda.
No, Linda is the name. Linganiso is the surname.
Oh, hayi kwaqondana nomunye uDr Sijwayele ukusebenzisana naye. So ngithi mhlawumbe uya confuse.
Not Dr. Linda. We have two Dr. Lindas, by the way. Dr. Linda. We have another Dr. Linda that we work with. So confusion with her. But again, Linda is a surname. We are born.
Ithi nje lana +1 other listener kodwa akaveli lana as a listener because some listeners wena Thulani uZulu girl and then besithi +1 other listener, so I'm not sure ukuthi the other listener ikanjani noma I guess ukuthi angi-understand ukuthi kwenzakaleni, but I guess lana akaloginanga kwi-Twitter account uvele waklikha mhlawumbe ilink yamusa kwi-browser, angazi noma uyakhona ukulalela ispace without ukuthi login ukuthi angayi-understand into ispace ukuthi isebenza kanjani, but I guess since it's one other listener which means lona outside kungathi angazi noma uyakhona ukulalela without ukuthi login. I guess uyakhona ukulalela without ukuthi login, ivele yangena kwi-browser maybe Google Chrome or something wangalogina then wakhona ukulalela. I guess kwenzeke kanjalo.
Okay, Dr. Linda, ngicela ukuthi uzame ukuthi just login nge-app ka-Twitter. I'm hoping unayo lapho on your phone. Just login ngayo and then usijoyine ngendlela, and then you let me know as soon as usukahle, and then or when it's your turn to speak. Okay, guys, I think we should start. Mr. Mbili, what do you think?
Yes, impela siqale ngoba naso nesikhathi siyahamba. Ngaqala nje.
Yeah, as well as that's a problem bafowethu. Once again, bafowethu sin-welcome nonke nilalele nabanye who are not showing here. Because if Dr. Linda can listen engaveli lang link, it means some people, because there are many people who requested a link, it could be the case also. Problem bafowethu sikhuluma ngona namhlanje topic nansi ke load shedding. Is it a technological or a political problem? Ngoba ke abantu like bazibuza ukuthi njengoba sinososayensi nje nansi-ke manje ilento sinenkinga ye-load shedding, ngabe ososayensi baphelelwe yini, asinayo yini ilento ama-solutions when it comes to ama-technologies, or inkinga ethinta i-politics eyenza ukuthi sibe ne-load shedding kangaka. But-ke before siqale lapho ubheka nje indaba yelokana i-load shedding, njengamanje lento yenzakala esikhathini where we are having problems amakhulu with the climate change. We are having climate crisis ngendlela yokuthi some of our countries, especially overseas, into ayenzayo manje basebenza ekuphasa nama-policies, amanye sewaphasa already ama-policies azama uku-ensure ukuthi at least maybe by 2030 akube ukuthi nje into ethinta ama-fossil fuels, coal, ukukhiqiza generate electricity from coal, using diesel, using petroleum ontweni, akube ukuthi sekubanned, kube into engasenzakala. And then here in South Africa, we are still having a country that relies mostly on coal. Mostly of energy esinayo esisebenzisayo eSouth Africa ikhiqiza from coal okuyiyona eyinkinga, and then sikhiqiza kuyona we're having load shedding problems again. Sinenkinga ye-electricity. Nansi inkinga esinayo. Angazi lapho Mbili, what do you think ngokwakho nje in terms of isikhathi while we're also waiting for Dr. Linda? Oh, maybe before I ask that question, I was supposed to introduce my guest down. Oh God. Oh God, I was supposed to introduce my guest down. I apologize ukuthi vele ngiqale ngaphezulu. Mr. Mbili, I think abantu abaningi abahlala kwa-Scientific bayakwazi wena. Bayakwazi as a co-founder kwa-Scientific. Always on ama-radio station for the past 8 years. Lokhu siyibambile lo mshikashika onke ama-stations, Ukhozi, many stations. esike senza kuwona. Yeah, uMr Biliga ngokwama qualifications, uyi-scientist, mathematician, also a physicist. Yeah, phinde be-entrepreneur kakhulu nje impela. Yeah, and a science communicator and u-scientist. So yeah, so kakhulukazi i-perspective yakhe siyifuna kakhulu kule talk namhlanje is mostly on ama-technologies that are there ukubhekana nenkinga ye-climate change esinayo, ne-comment yakhe nje ukuthi uma ubheka ama-technologies esinawo manje, do we think, are we supposed to be having a problem esinayo? So kuzoba lapho. And then Dr. Linda, like actually, mangakutshela isitory sami naye, the way we met, I was a student sakhe, while in supervisor, she was my mentor. Like met this very brilliant, ambitious woman, like very, very, very brilliant, hardworking, like indlela asebenza ngayo kanzima lo. Hey, Dr. Linda, like it's unmatched. And like njengamanje usebenza as i-director yakwa-research and innovation, ne-senior lecturer at UT. Like she's done so many things, writing books, published overseas, making environmental awareness, trying to talk about ukuthi how can umphakathi, government, ama-advisor, how can they use i-science ukuze benze imali, also ama-scientists, how can they use ama-technologies abanawo to make imali. Like she has done so much. So yeah, she's also part of ama-speakers ethu namhlanje. So angazi noma usekhona njengamanje to join, but I'm sure she can still hear us. So Mbili, ithi
yeah, ngicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe singaqala lana. Okay-ke ngicabanga ukuthi since lena kuyi-Twitter Spaces yethu yokuqala, ngicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe singaqala nje lana nami ngithi ukunikeza nje abantu abazoyilalela noma late-ke le record abazolalela sekuyi-recording lena, because it seems like abantu abaningi vela abayizukuyijoyina live kodwa bazoyilalela isi-recording. So mhlawumbe asingathanda-ke ngoba this is not the last one, so it's the first one. Sazowenza amanye ngokuhamba kwesikhathi. Mhlawumbe omunye umuntu-ke mhlawumbe ngithanda nje ukubapha nje nathi history encane yethu ukuthi sayiqala kanjani nje nanezinto zokuthanda ukuxoxa ngesayensi, izinto ezikanjalo nje. So lento lena esizoyenza lana ku-Twitter Spaces is more like into esaqala ngayo vele siyenza. Uma ungakhumbula ngithi Thulani, indlela esasiqale ngayo thina sasingabantu nje abayifundela isayensi, sahlangana e-university senza i-course yesayensi, kodwa ubungani bethu baqina kakhulu after ukuthola ukuthi sine-mutual interest yakwezi-science and technology. So nje siyayithanda beyond ukuthi nje siyifundela ukuyiphasa, sisifundela yona, sixoxa nangayo kakhulu. So yikho-ke lokhu-ke uyabona nje ngiye ngifise nangelinye ilanga ukuthi yazi ukuba mhlawumbe amanye ama-conversations sasiba nawo while sisase-university sasiwarekhoda. La ma-conversations abantu babengafunda okuningi ngawo, ngoba nathi iyona ndlela futhi like eyakhuphula uthando lwethu lwesayensi neyasenza ukuthi sifunde isayensi. Ingoba thina most of the time uma sixoxa nje besixoxa ngesayensi, kancane ukuthi besixoxa ngezinye izinto, besixoxa nje nangezinye izinto-ke nje kodwa i-serious, kodwa nje in most of the cases bekuba kancane sixoxe nje ngezinto nje ezingathini, besifocusa kakhulu kwizinto zo-innovation, science, technology, mhlawumbe sibuye sivakasheleke nakwezinye-ke zama-business and politics then there. So nje lama-conversations-ke nami ngifile like yazi ngempela ukuba abantu babe nayo indlela yokusilalela, izinto esasiyixoxa siyishare, sometimes sixoxe singenalo ngisho ulwazi olutheni, sibuzane, yabo lawo ma-questions nje lawo nje yiwo-ke asenza asiphusha, ayenza ukuthi sigcina sesiyithanda isayensi, futhi enza ukuthi sigcine like sesithanda ukwenza izinto ezingaka esizenzayo-ke ukuzama ukufundisa abanye abantu ezinye izinto esesiyifundile, ngoba nje sesingena nje kuma-radio, sesisebenzisane nama-radio stations amaningi. So lento yasuka lana-ke ekutheni nje sasisixoxela nje kanje, sesixoxela izinto ze-science. Uma singakhumbula-ke futhi-ke size siyongena eredio nokokuqala nqa ngo-2015, because saqala ngo-2015 ukusebenza nama-radio stations. Saqala nongoma FM, umuntu wasisuggestela ukuthi asiyongena eradiyweni okumqolisa ukuthelisa. Uma ungakhumbula ukuthi naye wawumuntu wayithanda ukusilalela abuze sichaze into zesayensi, wabona ukuthi abantu laba bayithanda isayensi. Wathini wathi yazi lento yenu kungaba right uma kungathiwa niyongena kwi-radio izwiwe abantu abaningi by thousands of people. So saqala kanjalo ukungena eradiyweni-ke ngoba umuntu wayesilalele wayithanda into esasiyixoxa naye wayibenefita from yona because wayifunda kakhulu kuyo. So wabona ukuthi okungcono ake siyexoxa kuphi eradiyweni silalelwe abantu abaningi. Namanje-ke ngoba even if sihlangene mina nawe Thulani siyakwazi ukuthi sixoxele izinto zesayensi, kodwa lezo zinto lezo abantu abaningi ukuba kunendlela ukuthi bebe nathi lapho noma besilalela uma siyixoxela nje kuningi abangakufunda from lezo ngxoxo so siyixoxela zona nje thina siyixoxela nje siyihlalele nje sizenzela khona. So nje lana-ke lana ku-Twitter Spaces I think abantu-ke bazoba nayo opportunity yokufunda from our conversations.
Ngiyayibeka Mr. ngiyibeka. Inhle sisalinde lento ngenganiso akhona ukujoyina. Nalo udaba-ke namhlanje i-load shedding. Uthi mawuqala nje uphawule nje angifuni ukuthi ngize ngikulimit for now ukuthi awuthinte la just your introductory remarks nje ongawasho the topic namhlanje.
All right-ke yiyo-ke lena ye-load shedding ukuthi vele abantu abaningi ngiye ngizwe nje nami ngoba phela singabantu siphila nabantu abaningi siyajoyina ku-social media siyawezwa nama-opinions abantu. Kuye kube khona i-question-ke nama-debate amakhulu ngoba phela i-load shedding sonke asiyithandi. Abantu bezibuza ukuthi i-load shedding kahle kahle yingoba ososayensi asinabo nama-engineers asinawoni, abanye beze bethi ayi ososayensi esinabo ba-useless noma ama-engineers esinawo useless, yingani sinenkinga kagesi ekubeni ekhona kanti yenzani. Abanye bethi ayi ngeke le nkinga lena ilele kuyipolitiki, mhlawumbe ama-politicians mhlawumbe angenzi kahle. So yeah, ngizowaveza ama-views ami-ke ngokuhamba kwesikhathi-ke mhlawumbe masiqhubeka ne-conversation ukuthi kahle kahle mina ngokubona kwami kungabe inkinga lena eyani, yingoba mhlambe ama-engineers wethu nososayensi bethu bengayazi into like lento lena isele ngakubo yini noma mhlambe isele kwi-politics, noma-ke mhlambe nakho okunye okusithathiwe mhlawumbe kumele siku-ede laphana kwi-title yale conversation le eyokuthi mhlambe noma it is an economical problem, because nakho lokho kuya-contribute kakhulu. It could be a political problem, a technological problem, or mhlawumbe-ke it's an economical problem, okusho ukuthi mhlawumbe inkinga yemali ngoba phela kungenzeka ukuthi we have a political will, sinabo society ne-technology uthole ukuthi sishoda ngemali. So mhlawumbe nalokho-ke sizoku-eda sesikuxoxa-ke ukuthi mhlawumbe mina ngicabanga ini, angazi kodwa noma sengingayiveza imibono yami ukuthi mina what do I think, kodwa nje ake ngime lapho.
Ngicabanga ukuthi lapha uraise enye emnandi kakhulu lephuzu lokuthi because it's possible ukuthi kungaba i-economic problem. Ngicabanga ukuthi lihle kakhulu impela lelo yazi, but-ke yikho ukuthi-ke nakho uma sizoyikhulumela thina as ama-scientist ukuzokhulumela so-science because osopolitika ngento vele balithola ithuba bayakhuluma bephendula ukuthi ngokwabo yini inkinga, yayibona ama-economist asho ukuthi ngokwabo i-economy ngokubuka kwabo bengama-expert kuyona imi kanjani i-economy, kuhamba kahle yini, le nkinga ye-load shedding ayithinti inkhona. Manje la thina-ke njengososayensi ukuthi-ke thina ukukhulumela ososayensi not ukuthi sikhulumela bona ezini like but as ama-scientists in the field practitioners, yini inkinga ngabe ngempela ososayensi baphelelwe ayikho into ngempela abangayenza njengoba kunjena. Kubukeka ngathi nange Dr. Linda
usekhona, but all right-ke mhlawumbe okay-ke before mhlawumbe uDr. Linda akhulume mhlawumbe mangingabeka nje lapho nje ngisheshe mhlawumbe nje ngidlule nje kwelinye ipoint ukuthi uma singakhumbula eSouth Africa one of the problems besikade sinawo bekuwukuthi ngokomthetho like bekade kungavumelekile ukuthi ama-companies noma umuntu ozimele akhiqize ugesi bekade ngawukhiqiza mhlawumbe ubungaba mncane kakhulu, mhlawumbe uthi ulayithe nje indlu yakhe kuphela, kodwa nje bekade engavumelekile ukuthi akhiqize certain watts of ugesi. So ezinye-ke izinto ebezikade zisibamba kakhulu-ke lezo ukuthi okay ngisho ngabe-ke ake sithi nakho uyi-scientist-ke noma uyi-engineer, unendlela zakho zokukhiqiza ukuthi mhlawumbe wakhiqiza ugesi. Before ukhiqiza ugesi ukhiqizela abantu abaningi udinga i-license. Lokho-ke South Africa makuqala manje-ke ukuthi abantu bevumeleke ukuthi bekhiqize a certain amount yogesi nakhona, ngoba nakhona kusasenelimithi. Angeke uvele ukhiqize nje ukhompithe nobani, mhlawumbe ukhompithe no-Eskom. So umthetho ubukade ungakuvumile all and all-ke lokho-ke sekungconywana-ke manje-ke ngoba ama-companies, private companies, sikhona into last time I checked yayikadiveza ukuthi okay nabo sebengakwazi ukuthi besikhiqizele ingxenye kagesi. So mhlawumbe nje before size singene mhlawumbe kwezinye, mhlawumbe ngingathanda ukudlulisa nje nalokho nje ukuveza nalelo point.
Very interesting one Mbili lelo. Yasathi ngicabanga ngibuka ukuthi yabo njengamanje ngendlela isimo esiyisona, like we need more even lawyers. Usakhuluma nge-licensing ngeke mina ngikhuluma even ngama-regulations nje nama-policies ukubaluleka kwawo kwi-science, because you get ukuthi la thina kwa-science, okay, we deal more about science, but in the end of the day ukupractice le science esinayo or ama-technologies masesinawo ukuthi asebenza kanjani emphakathini yonke lento amefika khona, udinga wona ama-licenses lawo, and udinga ama-policies azokhala, udinga ama-regulations azokwazi ukuthi alawule ukusebenza kwalezo zinto. And uthola ukuthi abantu abenza leyo mthetho abantu who have nothing, maybe bangenayo understanding ye-science ne-technology yakhona. So ngibuka leyo nto leyo ezokubaluleka, mhlawumbe ngelinye ilanga ngafuna ke sikhulumeni ngaleyo nto ukuthi ukubaluleka kwalokho manje, no, maybe we need to have lawyers now in science, lawyers in science, because maybe if we're gonna think ukuthi so rely kubantu abenze i-law ukuthi bacabange le-science when they make regulations. I'm talking about mhlawumbe abantu from law, from politics, like from all abantu nje aba-involved lapho. Maybe akukho akuyona priority kubona. Maybe it's us as ama-scientists we need to start having manje these law qualifications, these understanding kancane, so that we can help with ama-policies. So uma usakhuluma indaba ye-licensing nje, I think that is also very important point lapho. Dr. Linda. Dr. Linda, are you there?
Okay, ngicela Alantuka unmute i-mic, mhlambe uyakhuluma, just that i-mic muted.
Say unmute.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I'm here. I followed the conversation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. We introduced you here to our listeners. Yeah, I don't know any other comments, introductory comments on Afisukwenza about the topic before you get to your main points that you like to share with the audience about the problem loadshedding.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tulani. Yes, I would like to just contribute to the current topic you're talking about when you spoke of licensing. We do have an opportunity to actually become independent power producers, and you just have to register, and you can have then a business with government and supply energy. So basically, you want to become a renewable energy independent power producer by joining renewable independent power producer program. Yes, so there are steps, there are clear steps in terms of how do you become an independent power producer. As much as you said, it's a topic that we can discuss maybe some other time, but it's very clear in terms of how do you become an independent power producer. But the main thing is that you have to identify the source, for example. If you want to translate waste into renewable energy, that's what you need to identify, that you have enough feedstock and you just follow the procedure to become a registered independent power producer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that input, Doctor. Thank you very much for that input. Maybe the next point be anything you say isn't like moving forward.
Yeah, lihle kakhulu ipoint lika Dr. Linda. So nje ngiyalithanda kakhulu ukuthi okay, anybody can apply for i-license yokuproducer ugesi. Okunye nje nami ngiye ngisibuze khona nje ukuthi okay, like ugesi umuntu engakwazi like ukuthi awuproduce kodwa awuproducele ukuthi awuthengisele abantu emakhaya, noma mhlawumbe uma ungaziproducela ube independent producer ngoproducele ekuthenini usebenzisela wena noma ikhampani yakho. So nakho-ke lokhu ukuthi kahle kahle into kanjalo iqaleni nokuvumeleka ke eSouth Africa, mhlawumbe ezinye izinto lezo mhlawumbe kumele sizibheke-ke ukuhamba kwesikhathi, kodwa nje ngizothanda ukwazi kakhulu when it comes to i-renewable energies. Mhlawumbe nje nami ngingazibuzela nje umbuzo ngoba like umuntu uyi-understanda better kakhulu lento impela uye uDr. Linda. So nje mina umbuzo engingaba nawo ngicabanga ukuthi iyo lo ukuthi kuma-renewable energies like singa-rely yani like kuwo, ngoba abanye abantu into abaye bekhale ngayo bathi singashiya ilahle like silishiye impela nje, or like siphume siphele elahleni. Into abakhala ngayo-ke ilena yokuthi okay, uma ungabheka la eSouth Africa izimayini zamalahle ziqashe abantu abangaphezulu kuka-90,000, so balinganisela ku-90,000 ku-140,000 abantu abaqashwe zimayini. So abantu baye bebuze lokho ukuthi usho ukuthi sivale zonke lezi mayini then bese kwenzakala kanjani ngalabantu laba abondliwa yini ilezi mayini lezi? So iyo leyo concern yabantu nje le bengingathanda ukuthi uDr. Linda athathe mayise ebeka akabekayo ngokuhamba kwesikhathi. Bese ukuthi enye-ke yesibini-ke question mhlambe engingaba nayo ukuthi like kungathatha how long will it take to replace ilento le the coal power stations with lawa we-renewable? So with nje indlela ezintsha zokuproducer ugesi lezi nje ezi-renewable like kungathatha isikhathi esingakanani, and course iwaphi ama-challenges akhona nje kahle kahle esiwafisile, noma nje i-problem kahle kahle nje into nje esingayenza ngokushesha and without any problems.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
it's okay. Thank you very much. I think okay, simnike ithuba athinte lapho kushuthi now she's just shooting to it. Paula on terms of renewable energy, state renewable energy nje qala ukuthi do you think or maybe before Mbili, I noted my questions are down. Maybe before our technical lawo my question, just maybe let's look at the question here. Look, Nana, do we think this is a technology problem, or it's actually just a political problem, or we don't know? And then from there we can get to now good renewable energy, like the state is do we think we are ready, which we can just go to renewable energy? Njengoba nje ama-percentage njengamanje angabhalanse kanjena mubheka ilahle ilona supply kakhulu, so are we going to be able to just boom and go to ama-renewable? Amanye ama-countries enza kanjani? So mhlambe yes, ngicabanga ukuthi ngingasiqala lapho ukuthi do you guys think ukuthi it's a technological problem indaba ebhekene nayo?
Ngizocela uqala-ke lapho nami ngibeke nje ngikubonayo nami nje uvo lwami nje ukuthi mina what do I think.
Okay, what do you think is the problem?
I think lana yes, inkinga vele obviously ayikho iyi-one ukuthi nje nansi inkinga iyi-one, kodwa inkinga enkulu kakhulu I think this is a political problem, specifically lena ye-load shedding. Uma singakhuluma nge-load shedding specifically, not lena yokuthi mhlawumbe yokureplace the fossil fuels electricity, not le. Uma singakhuluma nje ngalena nje load shedding ngoba vele ithathi lethu bikade ibhale kuyi-load shedding, mhlawumbe uma ngathi ngifocus-a kuyo kakhulu ngithi le load shedding, ngasho ngithi it's i-problem yakhona i-economical, number one, number two i-political, more than ukuba scientifical noma technological, because mosi ugesi kade saba nawo eSouth Africa, so asinayo i-shortage yi-skill noma yokwazi ukuthi kahle kahle ikhandwa kanjani i-coal power station for example, ukuthi mhlambe sizokwenza yani siqede load shedding. So lokho yini inkinga yezezimali nenkinga yepolitiki. njani-ke lokho-ke mhlambe kanjani uma singakhumbula vele phela ukuthi iy'nkinga zase-Eskom zenziwa yini, zenziwa ukuthi ama-power stations esinawo awekho maningi, mancane, and enjalo lawa akhona madala kakhulu, so asefa njalo. Ukufa kwakhona-ke futhi okunye-ke baye bekhale ngani, bakhala nge-sabotage, because uma ukuthi kuya-check-wa lapha, if kuwukuthi mhlawumbe i-power station leyo ibe nenkinga, and most cases bebethola ukuthi kukhathwe i-cable, and i-cable yakhona ukubona ukuthi ikhathwe nge-purpose, ayizingamukelanga, ikhathiwe umuntu eyikhathile, and nalana ikhathwe khona uyabona ukuthi ikhathwe umuntu oyi-understand-ayo lento yokuthi ugesi uhamba kanjani, because most la ikhathwa ngakhona iye ikhathwe endaweni mhlawumbe engenamakhamera, nasendaweni e-critical kakhulu, so maningi kakhulu ama-incidences lano bekade kutholakala khona ukuthi kunqamuliwe i-cable, and uyayibona ukuthi inqanyulwe umuntu i-cable. Yiyo-ke lento elidala kuphi kwi-load shedding. Uma singakhumbula-ke enye into-ke mhlawumbe engingaphinde ngiyibeke-ke futhi-ke la e-South Africa, uma singakhumbula kunama-plants bekade ekhandwa njengelawa nje latest njengobani, I think is it Medupi or bani eyathatha isikhathi eside kakhulu, nayo eyagcina isidla imali eningi kakhulu, angazi noma nayo isiqediwe ngoba yakaqhuma futhi last year isizophela. Ngitshela ukuthi yayiqalwe nina ngithi uma singakhumbula kahle yayiphasiswe ngabo-2007, iqala ngabo-2007, kodwa kuze kube ubani last time I checked nayo yayingaka-operate like ukuthi like yayingaka-operate ngokugcwele, kwakusasenayo iy'ndawo ezazingakavulwa, kodwa into yangobani yanga-2007 uma ngathi uya-check ibhajethi yayo ngalowo 2007 yayi-close to 100 billion, nabo labo 100 billion ababeboleka ilokhu ikhuphuka ibhajethi yakhona, angazi ukuthi igcine isidla malini, imali igcine isiyidinga i-more than 300 billion, kodwa the initial estimations were 100 and something billion. So yabona ukuthi nalana ke South Africa akasinayo-ke nanemali, ugovernment wethu like akekho-ke akanawo ama-pockets a-deep ngaleyo ndlela ukuthi uma kuthiwa kudingeka 100 billion uzovela akhiphe ephaketheni fast alanto-ke bese ukhipha-ke kulungiswe-ke leyo nto okumele ilungise noma kuqhutshekwe nokwakhiwa kwaleyo power station. So uyabona ukuthi le delay engaka leminyaka emingaka close to 10 or even more than 10 ukukhanda i-power station eyi-1, leyo akusiyo i-problem yani e-technological uma uthi uyayibheka, i-problem eyanezeyimali ne-politics, ngoba uma ulandelelele ukuthi why-ke kuze kuthatha isikhathi esingaka ukuthi kwenziwe i-power plant eyi-1, uzobona ukuthi hayi-ke uma uthi uyeza ama-reasons akhona akusikho ama-reasons a-technological, ama-reasons anjani a-political and economical. Mhlawumbe ngamalapho kwamanje.
Okay, Mbili, ngicabanga ngiyakuthola. Kushuthi wena in answering your question, ngokubuka umu-analyzer ama-reports vele are-already public, ube ne-access kuyona in terms of ama-financials, ukuthi how much money ibudget eyenziwe lapha yagcina yenzakala kanjani ngokubuka kwakho from esayidini. You saying now the problem ilento, it has to do with the management of ama-funds and politics. It's not a technological problem. Okay, before ngiya ku-Dr. Linda, okay, maybe let's start with Dr. Linda, but ngisazobuya Mbili ngifuna ungitshela ukuthi-ke now looking at ama-technologies that are available, ocabanga ukuthi angaba i-solution to the problem or now, do you think technology is ready ngokwama-scientists, or we still have to do some more work elebhu mhlambe? Of course, ama-scientists, we always have to do more work, but do you think imisebenzi esinayo njengamanje standard sayo asikho sufficient enough ukuthi kumele ngabe sinazo lezi nkinga esinazo emhlabeni? Lapho ngizofuna ukuthi sesibheka mhlambe different examples of sources, alternative sources of ukugenerate electricity. So when we come back to you, but then maybe I would like to give Dr. Linda i-chance ukuthi akaphendule ngokwakhe. Dr. Linda, do you think ngokwakho i-problem is political or maybe economical njengombili asho, or technological, or maybe any other color? Maybe any other color ngawusho, but okubaleke kakhulu kuwena nje bangikhuluma nawe as a scientist, ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi do you think it is technological, even if ubazi abanye ukhali-ke ukuthi mhlambe you can't be sure ukwenzakalani khona? Do you think it's a technological problem, and why? Indaba ye-load shedding masibuya lapho sokungena-ke kuwena deeply on renewable energy ukuthi le mbuzo le enye ebibuzwa uMbili. Okay, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Thulani. Yes, to respond to your question, we depend on the reports, as you say, the public reports, because we don't really know what's going on, but we keep on reading. So during my reading, I realized that it looks as if it's a combination of the two. It's a political issue as well as a technical issue, because if you remember quite well, the issue of load shedding started in 2007. And during that time, ESCOM was actually building two coal stations to replace the aging plant. So there was a plant that was aging at that time, and two coal stations were actually built. But from what I see, the way these two coal stations were built, it was like um, it was not built properly. I'm not sure whether due to lack of skills in the country, because at some stage it was reported that there were delays when it comes to commissioning the plants, which is very critical. It's critical to commission the plant after it has been established. So they experienced major delays when it comes to commissioning the plants as well. It was also reported that the plants were not performing at optimum levels, which talks to the lack of skills in the country as well. So I doubt if a feasibility, a technology feasibility study was properly investigated by ESCOM, because before you can set up any technology, you have to actually look at its financial viability. Of course, maybe financially it was viable, but you look at technical viability of the plant as well as technology viability of it. So I don't think they had a proper plan before those two plants were actually established in the country. So that is a technical issue. So I think I'm very comfortable just focusing on the technical side of it. Then when it comes to the political side, I kind of hear a lot of things, a lot of issues around that. So I'm not very comfortable to comment on the political side of it. But yes, technically, I've already commented. So do you want me to move on to respond to your second question?
No, yes, you can continue. Yes, and ukukhulula nje, yes, of course, on the politics side, of course, since I'm talking to you as my guest, as a scientist, of course, so long as we discuss more the technology side of it, and then yeah, I think that should be enough. We leave politics for politicians,
Yeah.
and then we talk about science and technology of it. So yes. So yeah, ngicabanga ukuthi you can continue, Doctor. Which do you think? Yeah, the questions that Umbili was asking, I'm not sure whether you noted or ngiphinde ngikufundele ukucheck nje ukuthi uma ubheka state sama renewables. Do you think ready ukuthi singa transition confidently to she coal and then some renewables?
All right. Thank you so much. I would like to highlight just one aspect to say that
Okay.
as the people in South Africa, it's critical that we understand the framework, because otherwise we would not know what's going on, where we are, what was the target for renewable energy in the country, and what are the opportunities that are available for us. For example, there is an integrated resource plan, the latest integrated resource plan, which provides a long-term planning for electricity generation as well as infrastructure in the country. So basically the IRP, which is the integrated resource plan, it highlights everything that has to do with renewable energy plans. For example, it highlights the plants that are to be decommissioned. It highlights the target for the country, and then it also highlights the demand and what needs to be done. So I always encourage people to get their hands on the latest integrated resource plan, because there's no way you can read that framework and come out of it clueless. So the integrated resource plan is actually, it was developed by the Department of Mineral Resources as well as energy. So everything that you need to know about renewable energy, the solar panels, biogas, name them. Everything is actually highlighted there. So, for example, if you want to venture into renewable energy, you want to establish your own startup, you want to contribute to community, you want to contribute, you want to assist the municipality. So it's quite critical for you to know what was the target, where we are, and what needs to be done. For example, if you feel like the solar the solar PV IPPs have actually reached the target in terms of renewable energy generation. So you don't want to venture into that space, but you can maybe do something else like you produce electricity from biogas or from sewage or from plastic and papers or from wastewater. It is really up to you. So this is to say that's where we begin. We begin by having our hands on the integrated resource plan. For example, the target is also quite clear there in terms of, you know, the megahertz or the power, or let me say the capacity of the power from, you know, from different renewable energy technologies, because we have quite a number of technologies. We have, for example, besides the fossil fuel, which is power that is generated from coal, we've got quite a number of them. We've got wind, we've got the solar PV, we've got hydropower, we've got concentrated solar power. So there is quite a number of technologies which can be used to produce energy, you know, renewable energy in the country. So then when you get your hands on the integrated resource plan, the plan will actually highlight to you to say that which contribution, for example, if you want to set up a solar PV, you have to understand the target for that, how much has been done, you know, at this point in time, and what needs to be done before you venture into that. So that's what I wanted to highlight. Otherwise, the country is doing quite well so far when it comes to these technologies. But the most important is the skill. Anyone can actually venture. You can actually be an independent power producer, more especially at this time where, you know, the independent power producers are actually not enough to serve the country. Like the industries which use electricity intensively are struggling at this point in time because the current IPPs we have are not producing stable power supply currently. So anyone can penetrate the space to be an independent power producer, and then you contribute to the country in that way. So basically, this is to say that yes, these technologies are well developed in the country, but then if you are not exposed to the knowledge, you don't have the skill, it's going to be very difficult for you to know. Otherwise, yes, there are well developed technologies in the country. Yes, Tulani, I'm not sure if I responded quite well to your question.
Wow, that was very, 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 insightful. Yeah. You responded very well, very well. Since it's a conversation, I'll not go. I'll let Billy. Can you just comment if you have any comment, and also our listeners, you are allowed, bafowethu siyabonga ukuthi nibe nathi, you are allowed to ask questions kuma guest wethu. Siyabonga kakhulu. You can note them down, and then I will give you an opportunity if you have any question so that you can ask. So, Mr. Mbili, if you have any follow-up questions maybe or comment from what Dr. Linda has covered so far, do you have anything to say on that one?
All right, Dr. Linda, explain kahle kakhulu, explain kahle kakhulu ukuthi okay, then we have to understand ama-targets e-country kuqala ukuthi kahle kahle a-target i-country i-target ini. So nje unpack kahle, that's very nice. Then ke kukhona lana ngazi noma ubonile enthulani lana uNkosibonile ubethe akakhona ukuzwa, akazi noma i-network problem on his side, angazi noma useyakhona manje ukusiza.
Yeah, ngibonile, ngimphendulile ukuthi I think in network problem I certain lack. So we'll record it. Very space is gonna record, it's gonna forever stay with timeline. Ngabuyelela lela nje. It's recorded, no my name.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So, Mr. I was giving you an opportunity to just to probe more on Dr. Linda kula ma-point asaphawule ngakho as far as angafisa ukushare and any question or any follow-up questions from what Ashil or any additions.
All right ke uyabona like ngoba ke lana vele sikhulumela abantu eminye imibuzo nami ngizoke nje nami uma ngizibuzela like ngibuzela abantu noma imibuzo abajwayele like ukuyibuza abantu ezinye izinto kungenzeka ukuthi kwamina nami ngizi-understand better ukuthi why. All right ke nansi enye into abake beyibuze ozazi abantu kakhulu into eyayishiwo ukuthi nami ngibuye nga-understand quite well ukuthi what is happening in South Africa because into eyayishiwo kuyaye kuthiwe okay njengamanje eSouth Africa ne ugesi uproduce ubani u-Eskom angazi ukuthi ipercent elingakanani eliproduce u-Eskom but I think it's above 90% ugesi esinawo la eSouth Africa uproduce u-Eskom one-monopoly. So into engayi-understand ukuthi like into ethi singasiproducela ugesi wethu like are we allowed ukuthi njengami nje ngingasikhandela ugesi wami my own way ngizame ngi-applye khona into ethi ingangivumela ukuthi ngizikhandele ngi-applye bengenzele bese ngiyakwazi ukusuplya imphakathi nje mhlawumbe nje endaweni yangasekhaya kuvele nginje ugesi awuphuma e-Eskom ngizobakhandela ugesi ngendlela yami. Uma ukuthi lokho kungenzeka into engenzeka already pho uma kuthiwa laphana into eyenzeka Eskom yenzelwa ukuthi ukuze Eskom uzoba privatized leyo nto ingena ngaphi ke uma kuwukuthi already ama-private companies they can just build they can just supply electricity without mhlawumbe any without any problems noma without any struggles. If they are allowed ukuthi bekwenze lokho why are they not doing it? Yayibona le nto leyo angazi noma mhlawumbe singawuphendula lo mbuzo lowo noma mhlawumbe umbuzo wama-politicians mhlawumbe abantu aba-understand better it's a political question mhlawumbe ibona bangakwazi uyi-answerisha better ukuthi okay kunento ethini mhlawumbe ngiclarify again umbuzo wami kunento ethi u-Eskom ishiwo ngabani ne but u-Eskom lezi zinto ezenzakalayo zenzeka ngamabomu isabotage yenzeka ngamabomu yingoba bafuna ukuthi i-privatize ne. So uma ukuthi se-allowed ukuthi ama-private companies asikhandele ugesi wawo why ezenza i-sabotage kwa-Eskom why engavele ukhande bese uthengisa?
Oh, okay. I think that is a very good point. But I think to share my own before I read also totally the comment and I know what my own understanding of that. Anyone is allowed to start anything when it comes to whatever. But the thing is, regulations. Which bodies are regulator, which if you're gonna plan yakho njengamanje wena ufuna let's say usebenzisa amasola ukukhiqiza ugesi and ufuna ukuthi leyo gesi lawo ube kwi-grid uhamba usupply leyo iland kunama-bodies azokuregulator nendlela zabo and then siyaphuma-ke esandleni sethu ezo-society sithinta vele bona ama-politicians sewibona ngafike aphawule lapho but engikwaziyo there are procedures in place of ukuthi if you want that maybe now I'm a procedures to follow and I clear which maybe you can't go this far. You can only ufike la kuphela. So I think kuba ngama bodies la regulator le nto kanjalo ngoba iview lapho but you are allowed ukuthi ungayiqalela nje into yakho but you will have to apply for licensing or njengoba sikhuluma nge-licensing and then check nje amalogana akhona ukuthi okay na ama-certificates okufuna ube nawo njalo and then you have to comply with lama bodies njalo kumele be-approve it's things like that ama-processes lawo and amanye abantu mhlawumbe uthole ukuthi they don't have enough ngoba udosole ndawo yokukhuluma nge-exposure to knowledge ukuthi abanalo ulwazi ukuthi yimiphi imigudu kumele beyilandele abanye futhi sebenalo ulwazi sometimes they need more maybe people or more money for some of izinto to get those technologies okuqala mabe besaqala njalo and then they fall endleleni njalo so ngokwami ngicabanga ukuthi ilapho but you are actually allowed ukuthi ungaqala but you'll have to follow ama-procedures thizeni and angeke ube nawo khona lapho uzohamba ube limited khona ukuthi awukwazi ukufika lapha. I don't know Dr. Linda to comment there.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Yes, definitely. There is also a course that you have to attend, more especially if you want, let's say you want to set up a solar PV for your house. I've got a very close friend of mine, Professor Mambeli. He spent 60,000 to buy the solar panels for his home. So he does not rely on ESCOM. So you are actually free, even in communities, because from cow dung, we're able to produce energy. If you've got livestock, you can translate cow dung into a gas. You can easily do that into a gas, and you put up a generator to translate gas into electricity. So for that simple setup, you just need proper training to be able to operate it. Otherwise, you don't need anything. You just use what you have there in communities. It's always easier to do that. What communities have, they have livestock, so they have cow dung. You translate that into a gas, into power, basically. You are actually free to set such up so that you don't rely on ESCOM. At the end of the day, you pay ESCOM a lot of money for electricity. Yes. When it comes to setting up solar panels, then you have to find someone who's certified, who's accredited to assist you, because there are some legislative that you have to actually follow. So it is quite critical that you ask someone to assist you in that space. And then when it comes to public entities, I realized, because I've worked with quite a number of public entities like the municipalities, the universities, and I realized that it's not easy to help them to set up these renewable energy technologies. Maybe because most of the time you find that there are issues within the management. You know, let's say if I were to talk about higher education institution, for example, there will be issues within the management sometimes because the world is changing. The world is changing rapidly, and the information that we get exposed to as the young people is more advanced. You know what I'm trying to say? And if you go to higher education institutions, you get to a space where people who are in position of influence is the generation that came before us, and they were never exposed to the information that we are exposed to. So there will be issues of what power issues there. But it's very easy to set up a technology for the private sector. Very, very, very easy, because the private sector are only, or the industries are always paying quite a lot of carbon tax, right? Because there is a requirement now for every industry to pay carbon tax for the carbon emissions. So because of that now, they are actually forced to establish sustainable business systems. So they approach the technical people, they approach us from the universities, they approach the researchers, the professors, and then they ask for assistance. So we easily come in there because the private sector, you just analyze the different waste streams they have, and you do your techno-economics to assist them to find out if it will be feasible to set up a renewable energy technology. So I'm quite involved in that space. I'm working with quite a number of industries in KZN province. But the projects are quite, it's a long-term project, because you need to source funds, you need to engage stakeholders. You also need to identify the land where you can build these renewable energy technologies. So I would say it's very easy to work with the private sector than it is to work with the public entities. But I still do believe that, you know, as time progresses, we should get to a space where we are able to break through as the universities. You know, there won't be power struggles and issues internally, but you should be able to assist. Every university has a mandate to help the community, to help the society, and to help the industry. So I hope for change in that space, because I've seen the impact of UCT. If you're looking at the white universities, looking at the impact of UCT around the renewable energy space, they are moving very, very fast. They've set up small to medium enterprises. They are contributing. They've built quite a number of medium to large biogas technologies. and then you go to Stellenbosch University as well, you don't find a lot of these political issues around, these high-ranking universities in the country. You can clearly see the effect of Stellenbosch University when it comes to training the students, training the researchers, and having them, display their contribution in society as well as in communities. But the small black universities are still struggling, maybe because of politics. I'm not really sure. So that's what I'm trying to highlight. Otherwise, I hope that in the future we should be able to also have the same impact without power issues or power struggles internally. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Very, 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 very informative and insightful, Doctor. Yeah, Mbidi, you were saying something there.
And Dr. Linda just answered a lot of questions that I had. So I think manje any question mina ke engaba nayo regarding that, since seke wayithatha la kancane ukuthi i-problem sometimes more set up ama-renewables mhlambe i-problem kuyaba ama-delays wathatshile and the cost. So now my question is, will it be possible maybe for a country like South Africa to completely replace the coal power stations with the renewables? Like according to you, Dr. Linda, will that be possible maybe so I replace it completely? And how long could that take, if you think?
Thank you so much, Tulani. No, it won't be possible to completely replace the fossil fuels. As I said, that we need to have the policy does not allow that. So it's very important for us to understand the framework as I have indicated before. For example, the renewable energy targets, there are renewable energy targets in South Africa's latest integrated resource plan. The measurable target, there is a measurable target of an increase in renewable energy from the current state, which is 11% to about 41% by 2030, with a hope to reduce the share of the fossil fuels from 80%, because actually the contribution of fossil fuels is 80%, and the policy states that we are to ensure that we set up these renewable energy technologies as means to contribute significantly and to reduce the contribution from fossil fuels from 80% to about 51%. So once the contribution of fossil fuels is 51 and we are able to extract energy or power from renewables, which can make up to 49%, then at that stage, the country would have achieved its targets. I'm not sure if that is quite clear. So we're sitting at 80% contribution now from fossil fuels, and as per the integrated resource plan, we are to reduce that percentage to 51%. Unfortunately, we are still very far from reaching the target. As I said, because of the political, the power struggles within Black universities, as well as the lack of skills in the country. Because most of the time, I think the skill is not there. Because I think at this point in time, we should have people who are highly skilled, human capital who are highly skilled, even if it means their contribution can only be at the community level, where you go to rural areas and be able to just do something very simple to translate whatever is available, whatever resource is available right there to produce electricity. So there is an issue around the skills shortage in the country. But I would like to also say that there is also availability of short courses. Short courses are also available. I know that UCT does offer quite a number of very good short courses for renewable energy technologies, as well as Stellenbosch University's Center for Renewable and Sustainable Studies. So it's all about us wanting to know. So we have to be very curious and want to have the technical skills. Imisebenzi yezandla is quite critical at this point in time, more especially after COVID-19. We realize that economy decreased significantly. We lost businesses and so on. Like, it was a nightmare. So I would say at this point in time, let us have the hunger, the zeal to use our hands to produce something. So the technical skills, we need the engineering skills to be able to translate what we have, like the natural resources that we have, translate that into something of value, into something of it. So we have to realize that we need the skill, we need the engineering skills. So there has to be that anger from within us, because if we are very happy where we are, there won't be any change. There won't be any change. So we just need to know that we need to just to know that there is a room to be lifted up. So we want to seek more. Yes. So Tulani, I'm not sure if I've responded to your question correctly, but I'm happy to answer more questions.
I think you're very, very clear, and I understood very well. I'm not sure whether Mr. Mbili you were answered kahle.
Yes, kahle kakhulu. Okay-ke nansi enye into engiyicabangayo la ukuthi le talk lena kunomuntu mhlawumbe ozolalela, umuntu nje ogeneral nje ozibuzayo mhlawumbe sesimqedile kakhulu by now uma silokhu sisebenzisa ne-term or renewables or renewable technologies without ulichacisa kahle kahle ukuthi kahle kahle yiphi leyo ndlela leyo, because umuntu nje ongekho kweze science I think ulost. Mhlawumbe uDr Linda mayengake phinde futhi ecacisele nabantu abalalela ukuthi what are the renewables in fact and how are they different from fossil fuels? Tulani?
Hello. Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Linda, do you wanna take that?
Yes, I'm thinking how I can put it in simple terms though, because I'm running away from being scientific again.
Yeah, to scientific again.
Maybe you can use examples.
But,
you can just use examples of renewable technologies.
Okay, true. Okay,
basically,
maybe to help
renewable energy. I can take it right. I'll try to make it simple. Renewable energy basically is the energy that is extracted from renewable sources, right? And renewable sources are natural. It's something that is coming from nature. For example, the sunlight, the wind, the movement of water, geothermal heat and so on. Because I've seen the latest wind power generation from Germany. They set up these wind technologies in the ocean, because the ocean is always like ulwandle ngathi luyalwa day and night luyalwa. So ulwandle is producing a lot of energy. So they set up these wind turbines right in the middle of the ocean to take advantage of the wind. So basically, renewable energy, energy or power esuka natural resources, like renewable resources, just like water. Water is natural. You actually use water to produce energy. You can produce hydrogen from water. Hydrogen is also a fuel. Hydrogen can be used as electricity. It can also be used as transportation fuel, as motweni zethu sifaka hydrogen esuka emanzini. We use sunlight sometimes, ilanga eli. For example, the solar panels. Basically, for you to extract energy from the panel, other than the solar PV, you need the sunlight. So basically, renewable energy, the power is renewable resources or natural resources, ezifana sunlight, like ilanga eli, the wind. For example, wind turbines, generate electricity from wind. Before we set up those turbines, you identify the regions where there's quite a lot of winds, like PE and other regions in different provinces. Then once you identify that and you do a feasibility to say, yeah, there's actually a lot of wind, you set this up. So energy suka wind, basically. So I think I try to make it simple for people.
All right, thank you very much. Maybe. Okay.
Okay.
Tulani.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I was saying. I think she made it very simple. Yeah. I think you explained very well, Doctor. It's clear. There's nothing even more to add there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe another question that I would like to ask you, Doctor, and also Mr. Ndirinese, your comment on that one. Because now, just to move forward with our conversations, I think both of you and also myself, we agree with it's not a technology problem in loadshedding. It's now looking at some technologies that are available now, and also that look at other countries, because what happens in science is technology or is shut around the world. Njengamanje njengoba kune-nuclear energy and all these other kinds of renewable energy sources Dr. Linda ake wawachaza, it's the same ones that are available in Russia, available in all these other countries, Europe, all wonke ama-continents akhona. But if you go to those countries, go to the US for example, they don't have load shedding njengoba sinenkinga kanjena, but they are using the same technologies that we have. So which means it's not a scientific problem. Just to add, DJ, and to simplify for umuntu mhlawumbe olalela nosozolalela omunye ukuthi ayithole even more ukuthi it's not a problem. It's not like ukuthi uma uya e-US or uya e-Russia or uya e-India or anywhere around the world bane sophisticated technology entsha yokuphehla ugesi esingayazi thina. No, they are using sources that we know that are available, but they are not having the problem just now. That's why in njengamanje we say, or I say, we don't think it's not a technological problem. We think it's a political problem. Then maybe and mobile budgets and everything. Also, maybe you can say maybe not an economical too, but we're not going to talk about that because we're not economists, we're not politicians. We're speaking for science. We don't think it's a scientific problem. It's not a scientific problem. Not too much. I can't number technologies, but then so it can be there political. So and then now to move the conversation forward.
Ukenda lapho Thulani kokushoyo ukeda nje ukufakazela ngede nje one thing la ekuthenini, because even if singabheka ukuthi mhlawumbe because udoctor uke wabeka wathi okay sometimes kuyenzeka mhlawumbe abantu abebekade benze i-feasibility study basithola wrong. That is not a technical problem le or a scientific problem, it's a skill problem. So ama skills alowo muntu lo soko appointiwe ukuthi enze lowo msebenzi lowo. Ngifuna nje ukucacisa khona lapho it's not a technological or a scientific problem. Maybe if abantu abenzi kahle, maybe that could be a skill problem ukuthi mhlawumbe ke asinaso skill, but not that the technology doesn't exist yokwenza i-solution here.
Yes, I would also like to also comment on that. Sorry. Yes, 100%. We need engineering skills in the country. And also, if you look at countries like Germany, they have very strong incentives for renewable energy programs, renewable energy initiatives. But you don't get to see these incentives in the country. And also, because if we are to move in the space of renewable energy, the curriculum from the universities, from the schools will have to change. And there's also a need for, introducing a learning society, because it's an ecosystem. It is indeed an ecosystem. We need to have programs where we go to communities, teach the people there in communities about, renewable energy, because there are resources in communities right where people stay. So we don't have such in the country, and it boils down to the issue of the economic strategy of the country, because the strategy will have to be very, very clear and supportive when it comes to this initiative. Because when Tulani started talking about other countries, I'm thinking the only difference definitely it would be the strategy, the economic strategy, the frameworks I was talking about, and also the skills to ensure that people that we appoint in high positions, they are knowledgeable, they are ethical, they have strong morals, and they have the know-how, and they have the drive. They understand properly the mandate of the country. Thank you.
Exactly, Doctor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And all those things, they are all not scientific or technological problems. You can call them many other whatever, maybe technical, I don't know, political and other terms, but it's not a technology and a scientific problem. I think Lapo say Anzarisha a big question for these spaces. So moving forward, since we entered a question, I would like to ask a question now. Guinea and now too. It's clear the problem is politics. I will just summarize all the under as politics. They summarize as politics, maybe they summarize as politics. So who is getting appointed? Are we appointing the right people? Because sometimes when I find work wrong or wrong technical studies, feasibility studies, because you employ the wrong person, or all those things of it under politics. So because we're having these problems, how what can we do, or to make sure politics doesn't affect scientific or technological progress? Is there anything in us as scientists is or just general community? Do you think they have anything they can do in order to influence or it's a monkey that never gets off our back, which politics is going to affect the progress of science every now and then? Because in the end of the day, we are ambassadors of the field of science and technology. So uma ubheka umsebenzi esiwenzayo kakhulu emalebhu, not me personally, I mean like us as scientists and technologists, umsebenzi esiwenzayo emalebhu kakhulu, and then uthola ukuthi we're having basic problems, and then we have people who sleep emalebhu working on these technologies, doing engineering, working on research, fundamental research, so that the technology, the engineering people have something to build on. And then in the end of the day, you come back, you have a problem that is very basic, just because of the politics. Do you think it's a monkey that can never get off our backs, or do you think us as scientists, we do have some voice or something, a responsibility to make sure which it doesn't, political influences do not affect science as much as it does in this country? I'm not sure whether my question is clear.
Yes, your question is quite clear. Can I go first? It's quite clear, Tulan. Your question is very, very clear. You know what I've told myself from a very young age? I told myself that I will govern from my space. I will govern right from where I am. If it means I'm given a very small office with a computer, as long as I have the internet, I can reach the United States of America, I can reach Germany, I can do whatever I want to do. You just need to have the passion to make the difference. As much as I have also highlighted the issue of power struggles within the public entities, even within that space, you may face delays. But as long as you are keen to govern within the space that you have, it's very, very easy. For example, right now, I don't know how many companies have appointed me as the technical leader to take care of their different waste streams, and they want to see technologies up and running. So I'm driving quite a lot of this. But if I were to talk about the struggles I've encountered before in terms of the power struggles, delays, jealousy, and so on within these public entities, I will talk until, I don't know, until maybe next month, talking about, the challenges. But I don't focus on challenges. I just keep fighting, because I realize that if I don't make a difference within the space that I have, nothing that will change. So you also need to have that fighting spirit for your country, and it starts off by you understanding the country itself, where we are. where we are, what needs to be done. And most of the time, for you to be able to understand the gaps within your own country, it helps a lot to travel. I've traveled a lot. Like I've worked in the States for years and occupying the space of research, innovation, technology, development. I remember when I came up with an approach for the university, in one of the universities in the United States. And after that, I was acknowledged in terms of incentives, in terms of knowledge generation, and so on. So I worked in Germany as well, and I realized that I could not keep up with their work ethics. But you know what? You get there, you learn in the space of technology development. So I would say it's all about the know-how. How much do you know? Because if, for example, you have not traveled, you would not know how far South Africa is. You won't know. But I would encourage people, young people, more especially young people, if you get a chance to travel for work, for study, do it. Because it helps a lot when you come back to the country. It helps a lot because it broadens your perspective. Before you know it, your approach to research and innovation is different. Your thinking is different. But what I'm trying to put emphasis on is that you need to have the fighting spirit. Because at the end of the day, there is a generation that will come after us. You don't want them to blame us. This is to say that we cannot just point our fingers on government, but each and every one of us has a role to make sure that, we are able to develop these technologies in renewable energy. And also, I thought of also taking this space, I won't be long again, to just introduce Dr. Linganiso Foundation, what we do. And I think it's the topic that we can talk about in the future because it speaks to the issue that we're trying to address. I have identified the gap when it comes to, let's say, setting up renewable energy in initiatives or programs in the country. So Dr. Linganso Foundation, the theme is in support of high technology driven economy. So because of the pain in my heart when I saw what's going on in South Africa and what I've seen in different countries and what I'm currently doing right now for the private sector and industries. And I would say I was fortunate to have the experience. Even when I was working for the CSIR, it was all about identifying, the pressing issues in the country, raising funds, training people, and developing these technologies, generating patents for commercialization. Therefore, Linganiso, I set up Linganiso, Dr. Linganiso Foundation, which focuses on offering financial education to people. So we train people how to develop comprehensive business plans, how to come up with financial plans, how to identify challenges where they are, resources where they are. And then after that, people should be able to understand their figures because for business, you need to know you need that financial education. So we give it for free because I'm getting funding for this. And then after that, then we identify people who want to set up technologies. Let's say technologies in renewable energy. We incubate those ideas until the technology is ready to penetrate the market. So this is to say that Dr. Linganiso Foundation will bridge that gap. And we're going to send a call out for people who are keen to develop the technologies. We give them financial education because we identified it as a gap. Because people don't understand the value of money. You have to understand your cash flow. You have to understand that you are developing something that is in demand so that you get profit at the end of the day. So the program is packed in that fashion. So this is to say there is hope for the future. Thank you, Tukani. Thank you so much.
Wow, that is very impressive, Doc. That is very impressive. Especially the parts about Dr. Linganiso Foundation, ukuthi abantu bazi ngayo ukuthi, and what are you guys doing? Njengoba usho ukuthi you are offering financial education and you're trying to help them bakwazi uku-identify ama-challenges njalo njalo. I think that is very, very impressive work. You never stop doing izinto ezinkulu. These are my opportunities engicabanga ukuthi i-youth iyawadinga kakhulu because some people will still listen to this recording and ama-speeches ngesikhathi sabo and then they will get this information yonke and then they might come maybe and then sizoba refer, but this is very, very, very khuthaza kakhulu, inhle kakhulu, and it goes straight back to the point ebesilisho esikhuluma ukuthi yini mhlawumbe singayenza to try to make sure, because science, as much as siyenza, practice and we come up with these technologies, but it's affected by too many things. Njengoba senza my example, politics does affect science. Mubheka ngoba sengangenza ne-example ngama-regulations ukuthi we don't make regulations, we come with a technology. For example, you're coming with a car that can drive itself, but then for it to drive itself in South Africa, there must be laws and ama-regulations azokwazi ukuthi a-regulate ukuthi izosebenza kanjani leyo nto. So which means now politics is involved. And there are many things. Njengoba nje usho sikhuluma ngendaba yokuthi iy'nkinga esinazo sometimes uthola ukuthi people is financial literacy. You are having a plan, there's a technology, maybe people, you want to start a plan, but because you are having people who are not financially literate, in the end of the day, it goes and then people might say, scientists failed us. We're having load shedding because scientists are not doing well. Kanti uthola ukuthi it's these soft skills na owabalayo elithi ngifuna ukuwafaka also as the Total Nganiso Foundation. So I think it's very, very, very good, and I love this. I love it, and I'm hoping ukuthi abantu babeyilalela bazokwazi ukuthi bayithande and then by-join, and then yeah, njalo njalo. Mr. Mbili, do you have any comment on that? Because before you go, Mr. Mbili, to also, or maybe let's just talk about this now that Dr. Linda has mentioned it. I'll get back to my comment that I wanted to make also.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any? If you do.
All right, angithi ubukade is Dr. ukusho kakhulu ngoba angithi umbuzo ubukade uthi yini esingayenza as the scientists noma as the science community ukuze izinto ezenzayo ama-innovations siqhamuka nawo asetshenziswe ngempela, angagcini nje kube ukuthi nje umuntu uyenzile bakhona ama-solutions, but then at the end of the day abantu abathatha ama-decisions ukuthi siyisebenzisa lento noma siyisebenzisi abantu from the political side. So engicabanga ukuthi-ke mhlawumbe into njenge-AD1 noma lapho uku-emphasize nje ekuthenini into engicabanga ukuthi lapho ibaluleke kakhulu masingakhumbula ukuthi even u-government ukuze athathe i-decision sometimes uya-influencwa i-media and the general community. So lokho kusho ukuthi ukuze abantu-ke if into vele abayi-understand nane-importance yayo ukuthi ku-important njani ukuthi mhlawumbe sibe nje ngalelo loadshedding for example yokuqala nje esikhuluma ngayo, if abantu aba-understand ubungozi belahle nokubaluleka kwama-renewables, vele abasoze be-pressurize u-government ukuthi aka-step up ngama-plans akhe okuwenza ama-renewables asebenze kakhulu. So leyo nto leyo kusho ukuthi ebalulekile ukuthi kahle kahle abantu i-general public kumele ifunde ngempela, izazi izinto, ibe nayo information, because uma sewazi, uyabona uma ungafunda i-climate change and uyibona i-danger yayo and wazi izinto ama-impacts ezoba nawo in the future, kungabe ngempela sifaka i-pressure enkulu yokuthi u-government ngempela akazama ukunciphisa kwizinto ezikhipha these greenhouse gases. But ngoba vele i-public community ayi-understand lento nayo akanayo i-pressure enkulu. So yini nje engifasazayo lapho i-point elokuthi impela abantu kubalulekile nje impela ukuthi abantu befunde, abantu abaningi izinto bezazi, because uma bengazazi hayi-ke akezubabikho umuntu ngempela ozofaka i-pressure, because ama-communities ayaba nayo influence kakhulu kuma-decisions. Uma ngingabeka example nje, uma singakhumbula la e-South Africa sasizoba ne-nuclear power station in the past, I can't remember which year, lena wakuthiwa ibiza kakhulu, akusazi noma wakuthiwa izoba u-1 trillion yini isiphelele yonke, kodwa imali enkulu kakhulu. Was it 1 trillion or 1 billion? But nje ngoba imali enkulu kakhulu nje, abantu abantu abakhala kakhulu bathiwa hayi it's very very expensive, ayiyeke. So government uyesaba-ke uku-implementa into uma esebonile ukuthi hayi abantu abaningi ngoba vele phela we live in a democratic country, angeke bethi abantu abaningi bethi asikufuni lokhu bese uyakwenza. Ngisho ungakwenza-ke ngenkani, kodwa it's difficult ukwenza into uma usubonile ukuthi i-public ayiyifuni leyo nto leyo, ngoba vele phela ubekwe yiyo laphana ingazi kususa. So nayo iyakubekela i-pressure. Uma singakhumbula-ke ne-public kuleyo nuclear power plant owakumele ikhandwe la e-South Africa yaba na-influence, the media and the public yaba na-influence enkulu, because abantu abaningi bayakhala, bacomplain, even though-ke manje-ke sekubonakala manje-ke kodwa-ke lokho kubuyela back izinto ze-politics and stuff, because manje kuyakhulunywa ngawo the same nuclear power plant okwakumele ikhandwe in the past in few years ago. I can't even remember which year specifically, kodwa nje that same nuclear power plant is being considered now. Kodwa manje into eyenzakalayo angisayiboni lanto, angisaboni media kakhulu igxeke ukuthi hayi asisayidingi ne-public ayisayigxeki kakhulu. Yini ngingasho ngithi lapho kuyafuneka ngempela ukuthi abantu befundiseke ngalezi zinto leso nje le skill ngiyavumelana kakhulu ingadlala irole enkulu kakhulu. Nathi-ke abantu-ke mhlawumbe abantu abakhanda ama-solutions-ke abantu beba ama-advocates kakhulu, like ake sithi nje mhlawumbe because if you do not advocate for your innovations, ake kuzoba nzima vele ukuthi lanto-ke implement. So kumele mhlawumbe ososayensi beqale manje be-advocate ngempela kakhulu, because if ungabona mhlawumbe emhlabeni wonke nje, even mhlawumbe masingacompare mhlawumbe ososayensi base-West in most cases, uma bene-solution ba-advocate for yona ngempela, abathula bawuvala umlomo, bayayimemezela ngempela, beyifake i-pressure yokuthi nayi solution asisakudingi lokhu, asisebenzise nathi indlela entsha. So mhlawumbe nathi kumele sibe kanjalo la eSouth Africa. Angikuboni-ke kakhulu-ke lokho-ke, because nje kancane nje uzwe kuthiwa mhlawumbe ubuka iy'ndaba noma nje ukuthi uyafunda ephepheni uzwe kuthiwa ososayensi bathi, yabo, kuba kancane kakhulu.
Hayi no, ngiyakuzwa
Can I come in
Yes,
to just summarize?
Yes, Doc.
To just make this point clear. Yes, and I completely agree with Tuze. Yeah, so basically what you are saying is that, yes, a lot can be done in the country. Number one, we need young people who can develop technologies, advanced technologies, which are in demand. And to also make sure that when they develop those technologies, they have the information, the know-how in terms of after the technology has been developed, do you license it? Do you set up a small to medium enterprise that is profitable? That's number one. Everyone can develop a technology as long as the need or the over-18 challenge has been identified, as long as there is an issue, there is a gap there. So it's technology development, that's number one. Secondly, we need to also learn as scientists to establish private labs, because if you can look at those who came before us, the innovators, inventors who came before us, they all had their own private labs, because within that structure, you don't have the power struggles, you don't have the effect or the influence of the politics. You just set up your own private lab. You just need to make sure that you did your own feasibility study to make sure that it will be financially, it will be it is economic viable at the end of the day. So I think it's those two. And of course, Dr. Lenganso Foundation will assist in terms of the technical skills and financial education. There might be other foundations out there, but what I'm trying to say is that we need engineering skill and we need financial education to break through. Thanks.
I know. Thank you very much, Doc. Ngicabanga ukuthi njengamanje we are looking to ukuthi sivale ilento i-talk yethu namhlanje, which was very good and informative ngokwami. Maybe yeah, I will also just make a few comments, then we'll also give about if there is any from the audience to current audience, and then they will ask. But I think you guys have just touched on very, very important points. Any that I think is important. I think Billy mentioned it also in the influencer in the public opinion, because I think that is also important. There are different ways of doing these things, aiding to what you colleagues have said. Influencer in public opinion, which is some of the things that we do in scientific shows, media, because we don't want people to talk about science when they are not scientists. Not that we don't want, we like it, but I'm saying when people to misinform the public needs the science, I'm a scientist. So, and then we need to be there as a scientist also in the media, because if we are there, we create platforms also. Squads into eningi mhlambe where the public engenalo ulwazi khona ngezethu the science and technology, we give them that knowledge ukuze when bazokwazi ukuyibonela ukuthi I know this is what we need. They will know because scientists are accessible to them. They talk about issues ababhekene nawo nama-technologies akhona bayabona ukuthi possible. So and then bayakwazi ukuthi pressurize ama-politicians. I think that's one route that is it's a long-term one. Journey embark years back, but still pushing which is which is science even more accessible. I think that can also serve as part of the answer to how do we make sure which technological, political influence doesn't affect science. Because when the public know what bars which never eating and feasible, they pressurize. They'll pressurize our politicians. So that's why Balagiri would say sections and platforms and talks like this have more of engagement nomphakathi they thinta kanjena bese kuba indaba enye ngiyibuka engicabanga ukuthi ngasiza indaba yokuthi workshop ama-scientist Dr. Linda, and you get your scientist there kuhlanganisa ama-scientist sikhuluma ngalama-issues esibhekene nawo ukuthi hey guys, you are in the lab, you push in the lab, you do a lot of work there, but you don't know how fast does it reach umphakathi. You don't know how well does umphakathi take it. You don't know if there is anyone or who bans narratives, scientific narratives or technological narratives. Uma sebefika emphakathini mhlambe kuthiwa hayi asinawo ubuchwepheshe obuzokwenza ukuthi nokuthi because some scientists are not listening, are not in the emphakathini, are not in the media, are not in many other fields abalulekile. So I think also making ama-scientists abe aware of these issues nama-problems esibhekene nawo kubalulekile. Umuntu uzobona abanye bazothanda media, abanye they would like to help njengoba nje usho Dr. Reed, Dr. Langaniso Foundation. You think the financial literacy also you need to teach when people develop technologies like this in science. It's very important because in the end of the day, you're going to deal with budgets. They're going to deal with these things. Those things are all important. So they come together. And then Dr. Linda, I remember you had Usara, your student, who was working more on policies, the policy side, political side of technologies and renewable energy, which was very important. I loved that. Trying to also, where possible, have some former scientists who can be there when it comes to policies job, a show, there in media, there and there. When we need the skills are IT, we feel they're IT, and then we have those people. And or when scientists need a voice, scientists is there. They come to the public, they can have a voice. When we need to make sure the political influence are even cool, we're already having a scientists who are active in politics one way or the other. So I think ezinye zonke izinto lezo engicabanga ukuthi zingasiza kakhulu to add on what you actually had said. Angazi noma I think manje maybe I'll give you a chance to make your remarks in to conclude. If there's anything ucabanga you left that is important that you would like to share, you share. I'll give you a few minutes, and then Muscat, I will check if there are questions. If there are no questions, and then I think we will have to close for today. So I don't know who would like to go first.
All right.
Any comment about anything?
All right. Nage sengivala nje ngisho khona ukuthi okay, I can just remind people nje ukuthi i-load shedding khona even though sekuyinto into public velele nabaziyo, i-load shedding into esazoba khona esisazoba nayo isikhashana siyinto ezophela anytime soon. So lokhu kusho ukuthini ke lokhu kusho khona ukuthi abantu ngempela abazama ukuqhamuka nama-solutions ahlukahlukene. Into ezokwenza ukuthi i-load shedding ingapheli anytime soon ukuthi kuvele-ke even if ama-solutions ke sesiyi-willing-ke ukuthi okay ake sikhande-ke mhlawumbe maybe i-solar power plant or a wind farm noma ngabe yiphi, ithatha isikhathi eside lezi izinto lezi zithatha isikhathi eside ukuzikhanda. So nje angazi noma ikhona solution ethatha less than 2 years ukuthi mhlawumbe ukuthi ngathiwa mhlawumbe ungasupplya umphakathi mhlawumbe noma imizi more than 100 ukuthi ikhona into ongayikhanda engathatha less than 2 years. I doubt ukuthi ikhona because it's idinga imali eningi, kusamele umuntu aqala ayenze indlela zo fundraising. Even if nemali ikhona ke yonke into ikhona iphelele, kodwa nje construction nje yonke ukuze like ukuze i-power plant isebenze or operate fully sorry, ukuze i-power plant i-operate fully idinga ini-ke kuthatha isikhathi eside kakhulu ukuthi yenzeke nje iphelele. Even if zonke izinto zihamba kahle, wenzile feasibility study and stuff, kunama-delays nje akhona nje ongeke wabalekela. So lokho kusho ukuthini? Okusho ukuthi impela i-load shedding cha isazoba nayo ngoba ama-solutions awamaningi kakhulu a-implementwayo njengamanje. So ayafuneka-ke amanye-ke indlela-ke abantu abangacabanga ngazo ukuthi yiziphi indlela okungenziwa ngazo ukuze singezu-affecteka nge-load shedding. So njengoba no-Dr. Linganisi bekade esho nje ukuthi abantu ngempela ama-skills siyawafuna. Cha impela abantu ababe-skilled, abantu bebone nama-opportunities, beqhamuke nama-innovations ahlukahlukene, sizame ukulwisana nayo i-load shedding. But nje yona hayi, uma sathi sithi silinde ukuthi kube khona abantu abayisolvayo, abanye silinde omunye umuntu, hayi sisazohlala nayo isikhathi eside kakhulu. Mhlambe nje uku-add one more thing mhlambe-ke enye into-ke nje sengivala nje in 1 minute lena yokuthi mhlambe yiziphi-ke ezinye izinto-ke mhlambe ezingaze zisize. Uma ngibuka nje la ama-companies amaningi ase-interested ekuthenini azikhandele ugesi wawo, even nama-provinces, like for example mina I stay in Western Cape, i-Cape Town or i-Western Cape yonke nje inama-plans ukuthi ivele iphume Eskom, ivele isigenerathele ugesi wawo. Nabo labo bayasho even nabo ukuthi okay, i-plan yabo it will not happen overnight, it's a long term plan ukuthi kwenzeke lokho, kodwa they got some plans ukuthi maybe at least in 10 years bebengasadependeli kakhulu ku-Eskom, bebesebesiproducela ugesi wabo. So izinto ezikanjalo-ke sidinga even ama-companies-ke maningi ama-companies ase-interested athi wona azozikhandela ugesi wawo. Lokho-ke kuzokwenza ukuthi-ke kuzokwehlisa-ke like i-demand ekhona njengamanje lena e-pressurize u-Eskom, bese ukuthi mhlawumbe u-Eskom it could be better ukuthi mhlawumbe usupply leyo mizi-ke leyo noma abantu aba-general. Ake sinje all big companies la e-South Africa ayazikhandela ugesi wawo, awasebenzisa ey'nkampanini zawo. Uyabona ngempela ukuthi u-Eskom i-pressure lena ukuthi ikhona ingehla kakhulu. So lokho ngicabanga ukuthi kungadlala irole enkulu-ke futhi lokho-ke nawo-ke lama-provinces and the municipalities athi ayaphuma off grid, like afuna ukuba off grid. Ngicabanga ukuthi uma kungenzeka lokho kwenzeke like at a high speed, lokho kungadlala irole enkulu kakhulu. I'm done.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted.
Oh, yeah.
Apologies, colleagues. Apologies. So I was saying, thank you very much, Mr. Bedi. Thank you very much. Good point there. Points, Namam. Inside someone's like cool. So thank you. Dr. Linda, I would like to give you two by now and then to make your conclusive remark.
Thanks, Tulani. I'm covered.
Okay, covered. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It looks like our listeners, they do not have a question. They don't have questions, but if yeah, doesn't look like they do. Okay, thank you very much. I would love to thank you, colleague. Yeah, oh, now Zulu girl. Okay, Zulu girl, I think you can ask. No problem. You can speak.
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Hi.
Thank you so much for such an insightful conversation. Angazi ukuthi what do you guys think population being one of the factors that contribute to load shedding, because the population is growing really fast, and u-Eskom ngiyacabanga ukuthi manje soyahluleka ukuthi usupply the electricity for the whole country, since abantu abasebenzisa ugesi sebebaningi kakhulu manje than before when they first started to produce electricity for the country. I think mabeqala ukuthi ba supply electricity for the country, I think bayenze estimates for a certain number of people, but now that abantu babaningi, I think sebeyahluleka manje ukuthi banelise wonke umuntu in a country.
Yeah.
So ngicabanga ukuthi hence sine load shedding now. I think it's one of the reasons.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, yes. Thanks very much, Zulu girl, for your point. Yes, I think we are correct there. I-population ibe nayo i-impact vele obviously ekuthenini sigcine le nkinga ye-load shedding because vele uma ungathi uya-check-a lama-power plants or power stations esinawo into yakhanda kudala kakhulu. So kudala sasingenayo inkinga ye-load shedding because vele babesesebancane abantu abasaplaya ugesi because if unga-check-a akhanda ngabo-1980 uma ungathi uya-check-a i-population ngabo-1980 ase-South Africa namanje now we are more than 60 million. Kodwa uma ungathi uya-check-a maybe ngabo-1970s 1980s ngalezo y'khathi akhandwa ngazo mhlawumbe population lapho mhlawumbe yayisaseko maybe it was even 30 million kanje. So nayo yes iyalokhuza kube nomthelela lokho. That's why-ke kufuneka ukuthi sikhande amanye ama-power stations amaningi ahlukahlukene and now-ke obviously azoproduce renewable energy. So that's why kune-need enkulu ukuthi sikhande amanye amasha. So i-population, yes, is one of the factors.
Okay,
okay.
I have another question.
Okay, Zuluke. Okay, Zuluke, maybe before you go to your next question, I also would like to add on Ilendo, the first question. I'm thinking, for me, I would say, of course, the population mangabe inyuka, it demand for our resources on inyuka, for water, for electricity, for everything is everything again. But all government, by the plans, okay, there must be balance. General population inyuka kangaka. Now strategy naso i-plan ukuthi how are we going to make sure ukuthi ama-resources ayakhava yonke into. So that's why we say it goes back to political again, which means the problem is still political. And uma ungabheka amazwe nje like e-US njengama-US bane-population engaphezu ka-300 million, but they don't have these problems. So it's still not njengoba sisho ukuthi it's how I think it's political. Njengoba sisho it's political. I don't think ukuthi population in South Africa ikhula ngale ndlela ukuthi ufuna ngabe sinale inkinga singathi i-load shedding it's because of ukuthi mhlambe iland i-population. I don't think so. But to tell you the truth, abantu okuyibona who have I think ngizothini i-power noma singabathemba ukuthi basitshene ukuthi what is the problem. Ibona abantu abakhona nabantu aba-regulatory Eskom ama-authorities athinta nayo lapho ukuthi yini problem, ibona abangasitshela into more right. Okwethu nje was to look at ama-technologies as ama-scientists ukuthi yeah, it's not a scientific problem, it's a political problem. Sebengasho-ke bona-ke ngeke sibakhulumele ukuthi sicabanga ukuthi ngokwabo yini ngempela problem inside. I think it's up to them. It's up to them. But nje I think political, I think that's what you can say. My comment on that one. I don't know if Dr. Talinda has a comment and a response for your first question before you go to your next, or I don't know.
You answered it correctly, Tulani. Yeah,
Okay,
because we also
thank you.
have Stats SA. Stats SA has all the figures, so government should be able to make sense for the rising population and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. Okay, let me give you your second question, Zuluka.
Okay, my second question is that I had Dr. Linganiso mentioning carbon tax, about something about carbon tax. So I would like to know what is it only paid by enterprises producer e-power from non-renewables, or as long as you produce power, you have to pay e-tax, or as long as you contribute to carbon emission, you have to pay that tax.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Linda, do you want to take it?
Yes, thank you, Tulani, and thank you, Zuka, for asking that question. Yes, all the industries that are producing, that are increasing the carbon footprint or producing carbon emissions, they have to pay the carbon tax, not necessarily the renewable energy industries only.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Zuluka, you can continue.
In order for you to pay the tax, do you have to contribute a significant amount to carbon, or you just pay as long as you are a producer of that power, you pay, or you have to produce a significant amount of carbon?
As I said, that everything that we do, we have to look at the frameworks of the country, the policies. Otherwise, we won't be able to be informed. Even with the carbon tax, there is a regulation stated clearly. You can even, every company has that, for example. So you would know how much you pay if, for example, you're producing X amount of carbon emissions per month, then you should know how much to pay in terms of the carbon tax. It goes back to the issue of, say, everything about the country, there is a policy and there is a framework. So if you can get your hands on the framework around carbon tax, or just read about it as well, so you'll be well informed. Otherwise, all the industries that are contributing to carbon footprint or producing carbon emissions, contributing to it, they have to pay a certain amount of the carbon tax. Hence, the industries are now reaching out to technical people, to people who've got the know-how in terms of helping these industries to establish a sustainable business system. Because right now they are all running to technical skills, people with the skills for this, because carbon tax is quite substantial amount that these industries will have to pay. So there is a policy somewhere, there is a framework somewhere. So I would just advise you to get your hands on that policy if you need more information in terms of how much exactly do you pay in relation to the amount of carbon emission that you produce as an industry.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. I think you. Yes, Zuluka.
Okay, I have one last question.
Okay.
Dr. Linganiso, Ilinganiso Foundation, does it only help small to medium enterprises develop technologies that are only related to your field, or just anyone who's developing technology, you help them?
All right, thank you for that question, Zulu girl. No, there are categories. We are working on the website right now for indigenous knowledge systems as well, to make sure that we can produce the pills. We can actually pelletize the pills from the indigenous plants. There's quite a number of categories. Digital transformation. We need apps. Those who are developing apps, definitely we are supporting them. Waste beneficiation. I would say wait for the time when we have the website up and running. Otherwise, we don't only focus on renewable energy, but yes, wastewater and wastewater, renewable energy, energy efficiency, waste beneficiation technology is 100% supported. But there are other categories like green transportation and digital transformation. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay. Thank you very much for Imozo. Emihle Zuluken. Okay. I think most of information to tell in the mesa writing a foundation. Uzo share. I will also share a page. Then many questions. Then as a pendulega lapo akulugas. For now, I think I would like to just maybe just thank you guys. Thank you very much for attending. And then it means so much to us. I hope nabanye basazoyilalela they will learn so much. Thank you very much for Mbuzi Yako, Zulu Care. Very good ones. So I think I should end. I don't know. I don't think there's any other question. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you so
bye.
much. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.